Hello, and welcome to Mind Your Head, a space for people to share their stories, talk openly and honestly about their own mental health challenges, and to give some listeners some comfort in knowing you're not alone. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which we record this podcast, the Gubbi Gubbi people. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to all Indigenous peoples. We honour their enduring connection to the land, waters and culture, and recognise their invaluable contributions they make to our communities. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. This episode is proudly supported by True Protein. Use the code MindYourHead at the checkout to score $25 off your next order. Conrad, welcome to Mind Your Head, mate. It's a pleasure to have you on today. I don't know if you remember, we sort of played footy against each other a little while ago.
Yeah.
How's life going, mate? How's everything going?
Yeah, mate, life is going well, especially from footy days. A lot's changed. It's just been busy working, building like my coaching brand, clothing brand, training a lot. So, yeah, I guess the only big difference is not playing footy anymore.
Yeah, at all?
Nah, not at all.
Yeah.
I finished maybe 2021, 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, just had a couple of head knocks, so had to kind of hang up the boots. Yeah.
Yeah, same with me.
Yeah.
A few head knocks and actually a really bad one when I was 21. I got told not to play anymore. Yeah. And I kept playing. Which is silly looking back on it now.
Well, yeah, it was the best thing for me because I actually tried to get back and play after like a year off, and I just wasn't the same. I was so scared to hit my head again because I was like out for a whole year.
How bad was it?
I had headaches, bro, every day for like 12 months.
What?
Yeah. So I had post-concussion syndrome.
I had that, yeah.
Yeah, so loud music, the bright lights, driving.
I was getting vertigo. I couldn't train. I was getting like sick, nausea and that sort of thing. It did last for 12 months.
12 months. Yeah, 12 months. So that was easily like the hardest 12 months of my life, especially at that age. Like, all I wanted to do was be a pro rugby player. And I feel like you only get like a short window to try and crack it. Yeah. But, it just didn't work out.
And it's crazy when you get to like 25 and 26 and then you think, I think my window's gone. Like, I think it's a young person's game. And as soon as you like, and it seems like a bit sad now that when you're 18, 19, 20, you get to like, if you don't make it then, it's like almost impossible to make it as a, middle-aged 20-year-old or something like that, isn't it?
Especially back then, with like Aussie rugby, like working a full job. Back then I was like on the tools, rocking up to training in the morning, full day on the tools, training at night, trying to perform every weekend. You're still young, so you're like drinking on the weekends and shit like that. It's hard to back it up, man.
It's hard, eh?
It's fucking tough.
It is tough, eh? Yeah. Let's go back to your rugby days. Where did you what was your favourite memories and where did you even grow up? Are you from Brisbane?
Nah, so I grew up in Cairns.
Oh yeah.
So from Cairns.
Yeah.
Big league central up there. So I grew up playing rugby league.
Yeah.
Always wanted to play for the Cowboys.
Did ya? Yeah. Was that your team?
That was my team. Yeah, I love the Cowboys. Yeah. Still, just from being up north.
Yeah.
Ended up getting a rugby union scholarship to Brisbane Boys College. That was probably like the best thing for me because I kind of grew up in a house with like minimal discipline. I was pretty naughty in school and stuff like that. I was just there to play sport and have fun with my mates. But I went down to Brisbane boarding school and it was like
bit of a culture shock, eh?
Discipline, structure, like it's what I needed at the time.
So did you handle it well, the change? You did.
I loved it.
You loved it.
I needed it.
Yeah.
I think that's all I needed. And then I was there for rugby. It was all I kind of focused on through school. Then, obviously stayed in Brizzy after school, playing for Sunnybank and like coming through 20s and stuff like that. And then, just head knocks, injuries. A lot of injuries kind of, put me out of playing consistent footy. And then just had to figure out what I wanted to do post-footy, which was tough at the time. But, it was the best thing for me, which we might touch on a bit later.
Yeah, absolutely. And sort of going back towards the footy, was there an opportunity to go professional? Did you get pretty close? Did you?
Yeah, there was a couple of teams. Like I was in the sevens wider training squad for a bit, coming through Reds 20s and stuff like that. I think there was a slight opportunity to go to the Force briefly. Nothing real set in stone though. Like I was still probably inconsistent with injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I went over to New Zealand to try and crack ITM. So I went to Southland Stags, playing some good footy there. And then that's where I had some head knocks in like some of the trial games. So had a couple like back-to-back 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And then had to like have some time off. And I was just around, I was like not around family, not around friends, like in Invercargill. I'm not sure if you've been there, but it's like...
my family's actually from Invercargill.
Oh, no way.
Yes, yeah.
Hectic.
Yeah, so I know exactly what it's like.
I probably met him. There's like 100 people in the place.
Yeah, you would definitely have met them. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was a great time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like...
It's a miserable place if you can't play footy.
Yeah.
So why else would you be there?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And at the time I was like working like on the farms, like cleaning the cow sheds and shit like that for like 10 hours a day, going to training. I obviously wanted to do really well. So I was like, for a good 3 or 4 months there, just like not missing a session, training so hard, working so hard. It helped I didn't have friends and family there, so I could just focus.
No distractions.
Yeah. But yeah, trial games were going well, and then unfortunately just hit my head a couple of times, and then from there I just had headaches every day.
Yeah, right.
Wasn't getting better.
And that's the thing with post-concussion syndrome, because I had it for 6 months, and I thought that was terrible, so I couldn't imagine having it for 12 months, is that there's no cure for it. Like it's a waiting game, you know, and the doctors, I'm sure they would have told you the same thing. It's like it could last for a week, it could last for months. You just got to like pretty much wait it out. And it's like, and it's crazy because sort of that happened sort of, would it say sort of the, you know, how old were you when that happened?
I think I was like 21, maybe 22.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I had the same thing, and I was just like, nah, like I just got a contract to Bay of Plenty. I was like, no way. Like this is the beginning. Yeah. You know, I'm not gonna, you know, head knocks at that time, you know, was it, you know, when it was 2012, head knocks at that time, it was serious, but like, you know, you're still
fairly new.
Still fairly new, man. And like, you sort of just, I remember a doctor sitting me down and was just like, you might want to like try a different career. And I was just like, what do you know? You know, what do you know? And I was just like, nah, I'm not going to blow the shot now. I've just got it. And then every head knock that I got after that one, even if it was a little one, it would feel like a big one because the brain was just so damaged that there are some bits of me that look back and go, oh, yeah, you definitely played more than you should have.
Yeah, for sure. I think I was lucky. Like, I only had really like 2 encounters with like concussions. I look back now and it was just a sign. Yeah. Like, because if I didn't have those head knocks, I probably would have kept trying to play and trying to crack it. Like even now, because I loved rugby so much. Yeah. But I honestly believe like it was just a sign, either from God or just from life, just to put me in a different direction with
that universe,
kind of what I'm doing now. Yeah,
and it obviously always works out for the better, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Did you ever have your self-worth or identity tied up as a rugby player? Just because obviously you loved it, you played league and union, that's all you wanted at that age. Was there like a bit of you that was like, you know, or was?
Sure. Yeah, for sure. It was like all I ever wanted to do. It's all I thought I was good at as well. Like, just training, being around obviously the team and mates and stuff like that. So I kind of probably did for a little bit, like attach my self-worth to how I performed on the weekend or what I could do on the rugby field or stuff like that. So finishing rugby was definitely hard to like accept. I think that was like the biggest thing because I probably attached a lot of self-worth to it because I didn't know
who I am.
Or what the fuck do I do now sort of thing. So I was a little bit lost. So that was pretty tough to kind of overcome.
Was there a little bit of grieving in the process? Because I remember we associate grief with like losing a loved one or a friend or you know, a death or something, but I actually never really thought about this until I did a bit of inner work about it. Is like, I think I went through a bit of grief saying goodbye to that Elliot that always wanted to be a professional rugby player. Like when I stepped away from it, I was like, I didn't realize how much that was going to actually impact me. Yeah. You know, saying goodbye to all those sort of memories of, you know, when you're playing footy in the backyard, like, you know, winning grand finals and World Cups or playing for Australia or whatever it is, like you know, when you step away from it, you're saying goodbye to all those memories or moments or things that you really look forward to, and then you're sort of like into the abyss of like, well, what now? I feel like you're starting again.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a really good point though, because you got to look at it as, fuck, I got this whole new world now. Because the past life, rugby life, you were so consumed by that. That was everything, especially like for training. So now I train completely different to as I would playing rugby. And it's like, you've kind of got this whole new restart. You can do whatever you want now. So I think it took me a while to understand that. And it's like almost like a breath of fresh air. And I think that's how I looked at it anyway, to help me overcome that grief.
What was the hardest part about leaving the game in that transition? What do you really struggle with?
Just what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because like growing up, all I wanted to do was play professional rugby.
All the eggs were in that one basket.
That's all I was like pushed towards. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So like figuring out my next step, my next moves, and just figuring out like where I wanted my life to go. At the time, like I mentioned before, I was like working in construction, so like on the tools. Hated every hour, every minute, on the tools. So I knew I didn't want to, be on the tools for the rest of my life. But after a while, I kind of used like a lot of that pain and a lot of that frustration and anger. And I think I do this really well in my life, and kind of turn that frustration into actually doing something about it and taking action on things. That's something I've noticed I do a lot of, when I'm in a shitty spot or pissed off or angry or something doesn't work. I really try and channel that and focus on what my next step is. Yeah.
And I think you mentioned something good there. It's like when you're doing the tradie and doing that lifestyle, I think a lot of us like get in this headspace that we've got to know exactly what we want to do, and it's almost perfect knowing what you don't want to do. Like trying things and going, all right, at least I know that I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's okay to, I think a lot of us get stuck, and especially young kids sort of leaving school when they try new things and they get a little bit down, they go, oh, I don't like this. Why don't I like this? And they get down about it. I'm like, it's almost a good thing.
Yeah.
You found that you don't like something, move on to the next thing.
100%.
Just as important, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's really important to try a lot of things. Like when I have children with my partner Tegan, I want them to try fucking everything.
Yeah, get used to failing,
yeah. And for me, all I kind of tried was rugby league and rugby union.
Same.
So I could have been a AFL player or a boxer or something, but I didn't give it a crack.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So stop playing footy. How did you get into online coaching?
Yeah, so I was a PT straight out of school. So I did my certs and everything at BBC. Through this period, I was flying down to Sydney like every week for Aussie Sevens training and stuff like that. So it was really hard to maintain clientele at the gym I was working at in Brisbane. So I was in the gym, had a few clients, but it was really hard. I was 18.
Yeah.
I was kind of just focused on footy.
Yeah.
I only got into construction because all of my mates were working construction. We could all work together. We all played footy together. Yeah. It was good money at the
brotherhood
time.
There, the connection.
It was just so easy.
Yeah.
And like, to be honest, we weren't doing that much hard work. And like, you're just working with your mates, playing footy with your mates. It was kind of still like just carrying high school out into the real world a little bit.
Adult world, yeah.
So I kind of got stuck there just because money was good at the time, and obviously, like, no contracts and stuff. You're not getting paid from club. It was just easy. And then after footy finished, I was living in Brisbane at the time. I just needed a change. I felt like Brisbane was so much of my high school time and a little bit of post-school as well. But I really did feel like Brisbane, I was only there to play rugby, and it was just time for a bit of a change. So I moved down to Melbourne. I had a good friend down there. He got me a job working construction again, just because I just needed a job. But I just knew I needed to get out of it, and I needed to get back into the fitness industry, just because that's all I ever loved. Love training.
Yeah, okay. That was always your passion there, was this training,
I actually look back now and realise that I preferred training so much more than actually playing games.
Really?
Yeah.
You love the training aspect of it, just
loved
pushing
it,
yourself.
Pushing yourselves,
Yeah.
training, like, especially in the gym or doing
Yeah.
fitness.
Yeah.
Because, like, don't get me wrong, I loved playing
Yeah.
rugby as well. But, like, looking back, like, some of my favourite moments are just, like, training hard with the team, with the boys and pushing each other.
Why is that? What's the aspect of that you sort of...
I don't know.
Because I'm the exact opposite to you.
Yeah.
Like, the Saturdays were the best, were the most fun.
Yeah.
Like, I was a terrible trainer.
Yeah.
Like, terrible. And,
Yeah.
like, I would just get through training just so I could play on a Saturday. Like,
Yeah.
what was it about training that you...
I think it's because you obviously train so much more than you play.
Yeah.
And for me, when I'm training, I just feel so good. I
Yeah.
love training.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never skip a session or not say no to a session.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where you make the most sort of
Growth. Yeah.
memories
Mm.
with mates.
Mm.
Especially like in the big pre-seasons and shit like that. Like you find
In the
out.
hurt locker, eh? Yeah.
And yeah, those are the moments that I like just pushing yourself.
Mm.
Plus, I played on the wing a lot, so like you don't get the ball much. Some games,
Especially not in union, if it's a wet weather game or something.
You're standing out there all game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I just
Gravitated towards that training aspect.
Yeah.
When did it start to kick off? Like, I know you got into online stuff. Where did it start to?
Yeah. So transitioned kind of around the COVID sort of years. I was training at a gym down in Melbourne called Hurt Locker, and got an opportunity to get back into the fitness industry and start taking clients and PTing and stuff like that, which was amazing. I thank that gym so much for helping me out there. And yeah, around COVID, obviously in Melbourne, it was crazy.
Yeah. Were you in the lockdown, Melbourne?
Yeah,
Shit.
Lockdown. Yeah. But we could still manage to train outside. Like
in that 5K fucking perimeter or something.
And it could only be like 2 people. It was wild looking back now. It was retarded.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll train clients in the morning, go to work all day, come back, set up at the gym, train clients outside. And then it just kind of kicked off from there. And, you know, I just knew, holy fuck, like, this is where I need to be. Like, I love this shit. Especially spending all day on the job site. Like, I was just there fucking killing time because I couldn't wait to get back to the gym and train. And it's like that thing where you pick something up new when you kind of just know, like, I need to fucking kickstart this because this is... You just get a feeling. You're like, this is it.
Especially when you've got that comparison, like real life comparison, when you're going to the work site, you're going, I fucking hate this.
Yeah.
And then you've got that instant comparison of when you go to the gym going, I fucking love this. That was almost like an immediate, like, you know, light bulb moment where you're like, this is it. Like, I love this.
Yeah. It was good. Like, everything just kind of happened for a reason. Even being in Melbourne, like, I didn't have that many friends down there, especially after COVID. I was getting around, 24, 25 years old. And I just needed to fucking, like, take stuff serious, you know? And I think from that moment, I kind of made a decision. I'm just going to lock in on this and just go hard. I just put everything into it, from coaching clients, PTing, my own training, putting myself out there on social media.
Which is always a tough thing.
Yeah, it is, especially at the start.
Yeah.
And then it just snowballs, man. And
Did you have any role models or mentors to sort of chat to about, you know, starting a business and you know, being an entrepreneur? Did you have anyone to sort of lean on and get advice from?
On the early days, no. Kind of
all you.
Try to do it all myself. To try and figure stuff out.
Yeah, which is almost the best way to learn sometimes, isn't it?
It is, until you get to a point where you're just fucking going insane and nothing's working. But yeah, I think at the early days, like, it's fun because it's so exciting. Everything's new and you're figuring stuff out. But I did actually get like a business coach who's helped me out a lot, Mark Coles. And that was game changing for me as well because I could have like a mentor that I respected, looked up to, could go for advice, and just clean up a lot of stuff, you know, because he's a person that's obviously been there and done that, you know, done most of the things that I aspire to do and stuff like that. So having mentors is so important, I think, like, especially if you're wanting to start something or build or grow even just for life, like really.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
What's something that that no one told you about what starting a business was going to be like?
Oh man, you're definitely gonna have more down days than up days. I
Really?
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like in the growth periods
Yeah.
early on. But it's like, for me, if I could explain it, even the down days, I don't know if this is for anyone else, but personally, it's like motivation and it's fuel, and it's like, fuck, I need to be better here. And it's like a course correct almost.
Yeah,
so it's like this fun sort of journey where, yes, you take some L's, you take some losses, you're still figuring shit out, but you got to have that belief that as long as you continue to work and put it in and not quit, it's going to pay off. And then you get some payoffs and you see some stuff happening that you've worked so hard for. And then those big wins are like,
They boost you, don't
so
they?
good. Yeah.
Have you always had that mindset? Like, where do you think that comes from, that mindset? Because it seems like, you know, you manage failure really, really well. Like, you don't get in that victim mindset where it's like, you know, poor me or anything like that. It seems like you're really, really good at like, you know, managing that failure and like looking at something's bad's happened. You know, how can I turn that into a positive? Where do you reckon that comes from?
And it just comes from, I think, just encounters in life, family and stuff like that. Obviously, taking a lot of lessons and L's as well. And I think the biggest thing for me as well is just always having a belief that like I'm gonna do something with my life. I think that was like, I talk about this a lot with like close friends and especially my girlfriend. Like, I've always had something inside me pushing me.
As if you're meant for more.
Yeah, I've always just had, that's what like this here to win sort of mantra comes from. Even in those shitty days, working construction, hating life, I could have just kept working construction. I'm not going to lie. You can make good money and enjoy life, and, you know, life is good, especially in Australia. Like, life is so good here. But, you know, I just knew it's not me. I knew I'm here to make an impact. I want to make an impact, because I think over the years, I've slowly started to kind of change my life in certain situations. I think finishing rugby was a big one, and then seeing how my life can unfold by making, you know, the right decisions and putting in a bit of work and sacrificing some things because I had a belief that I wanted to make something. I think everything just kind of builds up, and you just learn from some lessons. Yeah,
you mentioned before how you sort of love training almost more than you love playing the game. Was that like a good realization for you? You know, obviously your training makes you physically fit, but also, you know, keeps your head in a good like headspace.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
like that's why I love training so much. And I need it, because I do deal with a lot of stress with work and business and stuff. And like, if I'm not training, this was the hardest thing with having 12 months off with my head. Like, I couldn't train. So that was like the hardest thing.
How did you get through it?
Dude, I barely did. I just had to. Like, I was still working, hanging up. I was a plasterer, so I was hanging up plasterboard all day, and my head's just fucking throbbing.
Yeah.
I just had to get through it, because I needed money to eat and live and survive. But yeah, the hardest thing was not being able to train for 12 months. Especially like, you start putting on a bit of weight, coming from like always training hard and like
structure and routine and that sort of thing.
That was really hard.
Was that the darkest time that you've sort of gone through? Was that 12 months?
Yeah, easily.
Yeah,
that was for sure. It was just like a few things all happening at once. Like, had to get over my dream being over. Had to fucking work just a job I hated.
Slave labor,
Yeah. At the time as well, it was hard because, like I said, you're going to get that short window to crack it. And, like, I would come through schoolboys and stuff like that, and everyone's getting contracts and shit. That was, like, hard, because I'm like, shit, what do I do? Like,
it's almost heartbreaking, when you see the players you play with are all sort of, you know,
Yeah, no.
making it, and you're kind of thinking, fuck, like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah, but, mate, it's the best. And I love seeing all the boys crush it and, like, fucking kill it, because I know coming through schoolboys and stuff, like, they had the same dream as I did, and they're living it, which is sick.
So happy for them.
Yeah, man. Like, you see all the boys playing wallabies and super teams and shit. Like, I watch them now, and I love it so much. Like, I love the wallabies and the ARU and Australian rugby so much. I think a little bit more because I didn't make it. I love it so much more, you know? I don't know. But, it was just wasn't for me. And, you know, I look at my life now and I wouldn't change a single thing because it's given me the direction, purpose that I didn't know I was looking for back then. And like I said, if I didn't have the head knock, I would have kept trying to play till I was like now. Like, I'm 29. I'm sure I would have kept trying to play just because I loved it so much.
I'd be doing the exact same thing. Like, that head knock was, like, so that last one I got when I was maybe 28, I think that was like the last one I got, and that was like the biggest push in a direction. It was just like, mate, I was almost saying to myself, what's the point? Like, what are you trying to achieve here? Like, you know, I think you're just trying to, I think for me, honestly, if I'm being honest, I think I played longer than I should have, was because of an ego thing. I honestly thought, because I didn't have a plan B, I didn't put any energy, effort into going outside of Elliot, the rugby player. It was always like, I knew that I was good at it. And it was almost like, well, if I can't do rugby, what am I else going to do? And it was almost a thing where I felt, you know, useful. I felt needed. I felt important. I got some attention from it, that it became not a thing that I love, but it became a thing of ego. You know, and when you sort of go down that road, that's when it becomes a bit dangerous. Like, why are you even playing the game for?
Yeah, but I mean, you probably needed that as well to realize
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it pushed me in this direction now that I'm in. But it's now that I can look back on it and have some fond memories and think about the choices that I made back then.
Yeah.
Because I love the person I am today, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those shit times. I've always asked my guests, what are your 3 non-negotiables for living a healthy and full life? For me, it's movement, community, and good nutrition. I've learned that what you fill your body with plays a massive role in how you feel physically and mentally. That's why I use True Protein. They're an Aussie brand doing things the right way. Clean, natural supplements with no artificial additives or fillers. Everything's made in-house in Sydney's northern beaches using the highest quality ingredients sourced from around the world. Whether it's supporting energy, improving focus, or reducing fatigue, their products genuinely help me show up better every single day. And just like Mind Your Head, they live by values I stand by. Be true, be you, and take care of your whole self.
I was thinking about this before, like challenges. And I speak to this a lot with like our clients, because obviously a transformation journey is a challenge. Like, it's tough, losing body fat, getting shredded, whatever, doing a marathon. But like, those challenging times that you have in life, as hard as they are, you know, they're the best things for you, because that's where you learn so much. That's where you grow so much. And without those challenging times, like without me having a head knock or your challenging time, like, we wouldn't be where we are. Like, obviously you're on like your own purpose now, doing what you're doing, you know, influencing so many people with this podcast. It wouldn't have happened if, you know,
not at all,
you didn't go through your challenging period. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. So for your coaching, are you more than just, you know, nutrition, you know, workout plans, routines, programs, more than that? Are you more as a mentor as well with the clients?
Yeah, definitely. I think.
Do you love that aspect of it as well?
I think to be a coach, you have to be a mentor. You have to be like a leader. It's so important, especially for, you know, men that we coach and train. You know, guys go through some shit. A lot of guys. You know, their physique and their health isn't even the main sort of concern that they want to work on. But they don't really know it yet. But it's not until they start training, getting fit, healthy, they start to realize, like, the biggest changes that they make are like their mindset and their actions. You know, we coach a lot of dads as well. And like, all of their goals are, yes, to get fit and healthy, but the majority, all they want to do is be like, you know, a good role model for their family and their kids and stuff, because life has kind of unfolded where they're not doing that, you know? So that's like the underlying sort of reason why they're trying to get fit and healthy.
It's almost you're trying to get to that driving force. You're trying to understand, like, what's the reason?
Yeah.
Because everyone's got their own reasons why they want to get fit, healthy.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
and that's probably your job to unlock that driving force. Because if you can unlock that, then you can really target like their motives, you know, what's going to motivate them to train and you know, stick to the programs.
Yeah, for sure. It's important. Like, you need an underlying reason why you want to fucking take some action and change your life.
Go through a bit of pain.
Yeah. Because it's tough.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. Especially most guys are dealing with so many things at once, especially family, kids, work, stress, all that sort of stuff. But if you do have a strong underlying reason of, you know, why, then like all of that other noise isn't as loud and you'll just get your shit done and you'll be consistent, and you know that's where all the results lie. You know what I mean? Like, and the clients that have the most progress are the clients that have a huge why. You know, we get a lot of guys that just want to come on board and just get a 6-pack, but like they're clients that I need to figure out. Okay, 6-pack's not really going to cut it. We need something more, and I think part of being a coach and being a great coach is figuring out how to push that client, because clients don't understand how far they can push until someone's pushing them.
Yeah, 100%.
And then they achieve fucking shit they didn't even realize they could achieve. That for me is the biggest thing, and why I love like coaching so much.
That'd be the best, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That's something that I especially noticed when Nate Brockman did that run. He did like a 3 or 4 day fucking run around that track, and in the press conference at the end, he said like humans are way more capable and than what they give themselves credit for.
Yeah, man.
You know, we're so much more capable. And I remember like going, I got a couple of mates that do marathons and that sort of thing, and I hate running.
Yeah.
Even like when I was playing, like when I was playing footy. Like, I think that we did so much running playing footy that I was just like, as soon as I stopped playing footy, there'll be no more running. So I got into swimming, and I do like go to Revel, which is a bit of like high rock sort of training and stuff. So it's not too much running, but I got some mates that I got run clubs, and like, Elliot, you coming down? I'm like, fuck no, I'm not coming down. Like, never got into it. Like, I don't know if it's
a natural runner though.
Oh, people have said that, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know. Like, I just never gotten around it, and I don't know if it's because of rugby. Like, it just put me off running. So I got into swimming a fair bit, and I had a couple of mates that trained for the Goldie Marathon last year, and they got a really good time. I could see them, like, they were training, you know, for months and months, and they took it very seriously. And I was at the finish line, and I seen them finish, and it was so much like satisfaction, and they were so proud that they stuck to a routine, that, you know, they took it, you know, they're so strict with their programs. They got a really good time. You could see how happy they were that they achieved a goal. And I remember like sitting there and just watching everyone sort of come past, and all different age groups and genders, and it was just incredible to see. But I remember sitting there going, man, you could see them when they finished, like how happy they were that they achieved their goals. And I remember thinking to myself, what have I done since I stopped playing footy? Like, I haven't pushed myself physically, emotionally, mentally. Like, I stopped playing, and that was pretty much it. Obviously he's kept training, but there wasn't like that goal, like you know, you're training for a goal or something like that. And I remember thinking to myself, what have I actually done? Like, I don't think I've done anything. I've just sort of floated through space since I stopped playing footy. And I didn't realize until that moment that I actually, one of the things I craved when I was playing footy was that sort of pressure to perform, or that, you know, that game day thing where it was just like, that's, you know, that's the goal, like, you know, to perform well, or things that you're training for. I didn't realize that that's actually what I needed in life. And since I hate running, I was like to Jordan, my partner, I was like, I'm going to run up to Noosa and back from my house. So it's about 37 Ks each way.
Shit, yeah.
And I was like, the furthest I run before then was like 2 Ks. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm going to get up tomorrow morning. I haven't told anyone else apart from her. I was like, I'm going to get up tomorrow morning. I'm just going to run up to Noosa and back. She was like, why? And she goes, I just want to see if I can do it.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't pushed myself. The theme of my life have always been quitting. You know, I think I probably gave about 80% of my footy time playing, like 80%. Like we talked about, like what's your 100%? And we don't normally know what our 100% is. So I look back at it now, and I reckon I gave 80% to life. Like I just put enough effort in just to seem like you're doing enough. And I remember her saying to me, "Sure," and I was like, "Yeah, but I'll need you to meet me up at Noosa Surf Club. Give me some drinks and some food, and then I'll meet you back there." And I remember getting up at 3, like so determined. And I got to Coolum, and I was like, "Oh, actually feeling alright." And then, I think I got to Sunshine Beach, and it was like my knees started to hurt, my ankles started to hurt, and then I was like, "Fuck, Noosa's actually pretty far away." and then I got to Noosa, and I was pretty stoked. I got like 36 Ks, get to Noosa, like wrecked, and Jordan was like, look at me. I was like in the shower. I was like just in the surf club having a shower, and Jordan's like, you can jump in the car and we take you home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, like
let's go.
Yeah, I was like, nah, look, I'm doing this. And she's like, why? And I'm like, because I've always been a quitter, and I don't want to quit anymore. I'm sick of being a quitter. I'm sick of like quitting when things get tough. I never know what actually my limits are.
Yeah.
And I was hobbling, man. I was getting blisters. Like it was probably I had like running mates talk about when they run long distances and there's a little bit of incline and it feels like a hill. And I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I felt it. Yeah, I definitely felt it. And like, there's like a hill, there's a little bit of a hill sort of when you leave Noosa, you can sort of look over the coast and you see Maroochydore. And you pretty much see where the house is. And I was just like, look, I got over the hill and I looked over in the distance. I was like, fuck, why am I doing this? And I realized like every time you stop and go again, the pain would be worse. So I just had to like keep going. And there was like, the underlining thing was like, it was easily one of the most mentally tough things that I've ever done in my life. There were so many like demons coming up and so many times that I wanted to like quit. And I was just like, nah, like what sort of man do you want to be? Like, I think I woke up when I was like 32 years old and like didn't realize like what kind of person I want to be. I have no values. I have no, morals. Like what person do I want to be? What father do I want to be? Yeah. Like what example do I want to leave? And I finally got home. And one of the most interesting things, like I was hobbling home, like Jordan was calling me. She's like, you're meant to be home like a couple of hours ago. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm struggling. I'm in the hurt locker big time. And I was like hobbling home and I was like, wasn't even walking properly. And I like finally made it home. And there was like an ice bath at home ready for me. And I remember like sitting in there and Jordan's like looking at me and I was like shaking and stuff. And I remember like thinking to myself, like that was my limit. Like I just reached the goalpost, right? Yeah. And I remember she went away. I think she was making me a smoothie or something. And I remember sitting in the ice bath and I was thinking to myself, as hard as that was, I wonder if I could have gone a little bit more. Yeah. I wonder if my house was a K away. Yeah. Could I have gone an extra K?
Absolutely.
And it makes me wonder, like, as much pain I was in that moment, there was a little bit of me going, you could have done more. Yeah. You could have done more. Yeah. And that just like made me realize, like, I thought my limit was here. And after doing that, it's such a physical and mental thing that I've just made the limit here now. And I was thinking to myself, if I just did that for something that I hate, I do not enjoy that at all. But if I can put myself through something like that and make it through, what can I do with something that I actually love and I enjoy? Yeah, man. And that was like one of the biggest turning points for me is like knowing my limits and how much I can push myself through. And like, it's annoying that I had to get to that point of like pain and suffering and almost like punishment, to be honest with you, to realize.
Yeah, well, I mean, your why got you through that. Like your why was so deep. You didn't want to be a quitter. You felt like you've quit everything prior to that.
Yeah,
so absolutely. Like, that's pissed you off so much. Yeah. That's like, got you through a fucking 74K run out of how much training? Zero training?
Zero training.
Yeah. So like, you don't know how far you can push until either someone's pushing you or you tap into like what's inside you. And like, I feel like so many people just don't understand how much, demon is inside of them. Yeah. Like, or how much like potential is inside of them. But yeah, man, that's a fucking epic story.
Yeah. And I think about it now and then I got some running mates and they're like, that would have been a lot easier if you trained for it. I go, yeah, but that wasn't the point. I didn't want to train for it. I could have trained for it and gotten better at it, but the point wasn't to make it easy. The point was actually to make it harder. Yeah. I wanted it to be so hard that I would have got to that breaking point. I wanted to reach a breaking point because I've never I wouldn't say, mentally, I have gone through sort of some demons, but I think pushing your body to the point of breaking point where it was so much pain to see what you're going to do, see what you're made of.
Yeah.
And I never got to that point in my whole life. Up until that point, I was just like, I just wanted to see, like, because you see, you know, it's almost like an awakening for some people where they get to that point and they actually realize like who they are and what they're made of. And I was like, it's so scary to get to that point, but I'm like, I'm always intrigued, like, what kind of person am I going to be when shit hits the fan and things get tough? What kind of person am I going to be? And I always thought, like, deep down that I was going to be a quitter. Yeah. And I was like, nah, like, I do not want to be that person. And like, even fatherhood, like driving force, like, what kind of father do I want to be? Yeah. You know, what kind of example do I want to leave to my kids? And something that I learned about sort of, talking to fathers and stuff like that, and they say kids actually don't listen to what you say; they watch how you live. Yeah, you know. So if you want you want your child to be a certain way, you be that certain way. You be that example for them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. I mean, how was that feeling? Like
the best. Yeah, the most. I couldn't walk for a week. Yeah. My ankles were swollen, my knees were swollen. I was texting my running mates that have run clubs, and I was like, do your ankles look like this? They're like, nah, mate, ankles don't look like that. But you've never run before. And I was just like, yeah, right. So I couldn't walk for a week. Like, everything was swollen. I had blisters. But that pain was the most enjoyable pain that I can think of at this point in time. Yeah. Like, that pain, I was just like, you did it.
Yeah, it's because you prove something to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that you can only get that through a challenge. You can only get through that sort of growth that you're talking about, which is like almost life-changing growth through a 100%. Hard as fuck challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, I follow a guy, Will Googe, who's a guy that I consume a lot of content. He's a legend. He's running across Australia right now, so he's doing like 100,
I think I know him.
110K runs every day.
Is that not mental?
Yeah, it's wild. But like watching him do that, you can understand how far people can push. It's crazy. And
it goes back to what you said before, is like how strong is that driving force? How strong is that why? Because if that why, you know, I heard a quote, it was something like, a man can get through any challenges depending on how big his why is. Yeah. You know?
100%.
Yeah.
I believe everyone has that. Like, that's what this whole here to win is for me. Like, everyone's here for a reason. You know, here to win, it's not like for you, you're just here to win your life. Not here to necessarily win a marathon or a high rocks or anything. You're just here to win your struggles, your challenges, the shit that you're going through. You're just going to understand that you are here for a reason and you are here to win. So yeah, it relates to all of that stuff.
Do you feel like there's any pressure on you just because you seem like very obviously motivated, driven to become the best version of yourself? Do you feel like there's ever pressure on you to always show up and to be strong even when you're struggling inside?
I wouldn't say pressure. I definitely put a lot of pressure on myself.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely do.
So how do you get through those tough times? And I know you've got that sort of strong mindset, but what gets you through that?
Man, honestly, my partner a lot of the time. Yeah. She obviously
the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Is she?
We're direct opposites, man. So we're like perfect.
Yeah.
So she obviously sees the good, the bad, the ugly. But yeah, there's days, man, especially over the past 6 or 12 months with a lot of stuff happening, a lot of stress and stuff like that. Probably a lot of pressure as well. There's days where I just lay in bed sometimes and just think about so much stuff and get consumed by a lot of stress.
Do you often sort of suppress that, or are you the type of person that sort of likes the voice it, or?
I think I'm starting to become really good at diluting a lot of it and letting a lot of stress out. Yeah. Part of that is talking a lot more and opening up more on things that are in my head. Because a lot, like when I was younger, I'll just bottle shit up, hold stuff in, and then it would come out somewhere, whether it's drunken rage or just like, just
little triggers that just like can spark something. Yeah.
So I've actually done a lot of work, like being more confident and open and vulnerable, like speaking through things a lot more, because it just, you get a new perspective. And I think that's a big thing, because there's always two sides to everything. No matter what you're going through, even like a terrible situation, there's still going to be a positive outcome out of that, which is hard to find at first, especially if you're
100%.
going through something.
Yeah.
But there always is going to be a positive out of every situation, and a negative, of course. But I think learning that and understanding that and just like believing in that more helps, because now through, I guess, a couple of years, I just kind of understand that things are always going to work out, and they always do.
They always do, don't they?
They always fucking do.
It's almost like what we build up in our own head is way worse than reality.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Mental warfare in the mind, dude, like a lot of the time. But yeah, I think dealing with it, you definitely need good support. Like for me, it's my partner, it's close friends, people that you can open up to and share stuff to. But I think if you don't have that, like you need to have a belief that things will always work out. I know early on, whatever you're going through, it's almost impossible to see that. But time heals a lot of things.
Yeah, it does. I remember, like, I got a close friend who lost his dad to suicide 11 years ago, and I was chatting to one of my sort of mentors especially in this space, and I was just chatting about it, and he keeps saying to me, everything happens for a reason. And I said to him, my mate lost his dad to suicide. How come that happened for a reason?
Yeah.
And he goes, what's your mate doing now? And I said, well, he's got a mental health charity. He promotes sort of exercise, and his thing is sort of a healthy mind and a healthy body. So he loves getting outdoors. He's got run clubs. He works with a lot of sort of different brands, and he's changing a lot of people's lives through movement. He thinks movement's the key to a healthy life, and eating well, moving the body, it all sort of relates to your mental health.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, maybe his dad needed to die for him to be that person.
Yeah, man.
And I was like, fuck, I never thought about it like that. And he goes, yeah, well, most people don't.
Yeah.
Maybe he needed to pass away for Brock to be the best version of himself.
Absolutely.
And I was like, that's brutal. That's a brutal truth to handle.
Yeah, it is. It is. And that's life, hey? Like, life is fucking brutal. But again, kudos to him, because he could have went a different way.
100%.
He could have went a completely different way. But now he's making a huge impact. He's turning some terrible negative into a huge positive that's going to impact not just himself, but probably hundreds and thousands.
100%. It's sort of like leaving a legacy for his dad as well.
Yeah, for sure.
That being, you said before, sort of being vulnerable. Is it getting easier now to be vulnerable, to talk about things? I know it's just me and you in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, is it becoming easier? Are you getting better at it?
It's definitely getting easier.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, man, I just couldn't say the words or open up. And that's just...
It's a typical sort of man thing, isn't it?
Just through years of holding stuff in. So it's just like relearning bad habits. But when you get like positive reinforcement on trying to override bad habits, you bring that fear down, So before I would be fearful of, I don't want to open up, I don't know what people are going to say,
judgment,
all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But then when you actually get a reaction, like you feel really good, or you've heard something that you needed to hear, you're like, holy fuck, okay, maybe I should open up more.
Yeah.
It's just like that
positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
Did you ever miss something that I sort of think about sometimes, is that community and connection and brotherhood that we had playing footy? Did you miss that? Is that something you're trying to recreate now with sort of Quick Fit? And I know you got some of your mates on board as well. Is it you're trying to sort of have that community and connection again?
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, community is so important, especially for guys. Especially people going through some stuff. Like, I think community, we all want to belong somewhere or with something, especially with things that we enjoy. And I think that's using my experience through rugby teams and stuff like that. This is an area that I really try and focus on, because I know how valuable it is when people are working together, building together, achieving things together, relating to each other as well. Like, we can relate through what we've been through, but some of our clients are almost identical. Same goals, same lifestyles, same struggles, same pain points. So like connecting them together just helps them flourish and grow and succeed. So like community is a massive impact or massive focus point for what I'm trying to build with Quicks and Quicks Academy.
Let's talk about Quicks. Quick Fit?
Quicks Academy.
Quicks Academy.
It was Quick Fit when it was just me, but yeah, we've got a team now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's that? How's that going? I know you're in Bali now.
Yeah. So been in Bali for 2.5 years now.
How is it?
Yeah, it's good, man.
Is it? Loving it?
It's been good, but to be honest, being here on the coast for the past 4 or 5 weeks has been great.
Yeah, has it?
Yeah.
Just reconnecting again.
Yeah, like we've got a lot of mates here.
Yeah.
Bali's been great for the past 2.5 years because didn't have any distractions. Like didn't know anyone.
Just focus on work.
And like at the time, growing everything, it's what I needed. I needed it so bad. So I've kind of been locked away in Bali, just working, just training, just learning, just figuring stuff out. And then, I think we'll probably move back here maybe next year.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's the next step with progress and growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like you're the type of guy that goes all in.
Oh, yeah, with everything.
With everything,
Yeah.
is it?
I'm either not in at all or 100%. Yeah, with everything.
With everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I don't like something, I'll hate it. If I like something, I fucking love it.
We're going
There's
all in.
no in between.
Yeah, nothing in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. What's the downside of that?
Maybe like, shit.
Knowing when to quit?
Yeah, knowing when to quit or just like enjoying things for what they are.
Ah, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like
being present in the moment.
Yeah, being present. I definitely struggle with being present.
Do
I
you?
think, yeah.
Are you something that I realised that I was very destination driven.
Yeah.
When I was especially when I was playing footy, it was just like, all right, what's the next team? What's the next goal? What's the next thing? Like, there's always a goal or something destination wise where I didn't realise that the journey was actually, the most important bit, like the person you're becoming on the way to the destination.
Yeah.
I look back on it now and like we talked about all the things that we sort of missed about rugby, all the things that we, our favourite memories.
Yeah.
It wasn't always winning a grand final. It wasn't always like the where you score tries or that sort of thing. It was the pre-seasons. It was all the bonding trips or the footy trips that you where you were strangers and now you're best mates.
Yeah.
Like they're the things that I love the most about it. And those friends that I've still got in Brisbane, every time we catch up that we haven't seen in years, it's nothing's changed. Like no time has passed.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's hard though when you're goal orientated and like you want to achieve something so much. You can put the blinders on and just lock in on that end goal. But I was actually saying this to my partner yesterday because we were packing orders and we were going super quick. We started to make like a few mistakes. First time doing it, I just said to her, look, let's slow down a little bit. This is our first time doing it. Let's enjoy it. Like, we've worked so hard for this. And it was good. We just like actually slowed down, try to be present because we'd worked so hard for this. And I felt like we were just rushing shit at the start and like trying to make everything perfect. Whereas it was so much better when we could just slow down a little bit, put some music on, just enjoy it.
Make a little moment out of it and realise like that you're packing orders. That was a dream you had sort of years ago and now you've achieved it and now you're sort of packing your orders going, what the hell? We did it. Like we actually did it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I said to her in the car as well, I've been on so many runs or so many training sessions where I would think, fuck me, I cannot wait to just wear my own kit one day.
Really?
Like shorts, socks, hats.
Yeah.
And like the days kind of come and it's so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible, is it? Because you do have to have that period of reflection and go, did you hear that saying like the top of one mountain is the bottom of another?
Yeah.
And it's always good to have those goals, but also when you reach those goals, it's good to have, just a moment to sit with it and go, we did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so good to achieve that.
Yeah. It's important because life happens quick, man. Like, shit, I'm almost 30 and I still feel like I'm 15, 16 some days. But even catching up with mates over the past, few weeks being here on the coast, like we talk about, things back in the day, school, games and shit like that. And it just feels like it wasn't even long ago. But like life, it just goes like
that quick.
It's wild.
Yeah, I remember like turning 20, and you know, my dad said to me a couple of times, I was like, "What do you want to sort of do outside of footy?" And I was like, "I don't know." He goes, "You might have to, start thinking about it." And I was like, "Well, I was 20. I think I was 20, 19 or 20. I was like, 30 so far down the line.
Yeah,
like
man.
30 is so far down the line, and then all of a sudden you wake up, you're 30, and you're like, fuck,
It's wild. Hey?
it's wild."
Yeah.
What's the version you're sort of becoming now? You've had so much growth over the years. It seems like every day you're sort of trying to get a better version of yourself. What's something that you still haven't addressed yet? Maybe something a part of you that sort of scares you the most.
Yeah, good question.
If there's any.
Nah, man, I'm scared of a lot of things. Spiders, snakes, dogs sometimes.
What about being content? It seems like you're always, more wanting more, whether it's, more out of yourself, more out of your business, more from life.
Yeah.
What's more for you?
Yeah, I think more for me is like just building my dream life and making, a big impact. I think, being content is definitely something that I struggle with as well.
It's just sitting and relaxing.
Yeah, I do. Just because I got a lot of goals that I want to achieve.
Yeah.
And it comes back to that feeling I've always had of like something pushing me and like added pressure on myself to, achieve what I want to achieve. But yeah, I think it's just a phase in my life as well. Like I'm in a very growth orientated phase where I need to be building stuff. I need to be, building a solid coaching team, making a big impact, transforming lives, being at the forefront of that, like trying to be the best leader I can be. Just because, if I look at my life now, it's the only time that I can do that, have the energy to do that, have the lifestyle to do that. Like I don't have any kids yet, but I think the next phase of my life, things will start to slow down and settle down. And that's probably where I will need to transition more towards, being less goal focused, orientated to more content and satisfied.
Does that scare you?
It does a little bit because I don't know when that will be. But I think like that's why I want to work so hard to kind of get closer to that because I think for me the end goal is I just want to, I do just want to have a massive impact and, help transform people's lives. Doing it the only way I know how, through training, nutrition, mindset and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I do just want to sit around with my wife, my family, and just fucking feel like we've made it. It could be anywhere. I just want that feeling. And I think that feeling will come with having children, having a family, and trying to be a great role model for them.
If you could go back and talk to the Conrad when he sort of made the decision to walk away from footy, what would you say to him to set him up for the future ahead?
Shit, man. Mate, I'll just say, fucking keep your head up.
Yeah.
You're so much stronger than you think you are. You definitely need to stay away from, negative vices and channel this anger and, frustration that you do have and use it to, something positive. But fall back on what you have. Like, I felt like, I always had a good sort of mindset, I think, which, I'm blessed to have. So I needed to use that a little bit more because that ultimately is what creates like the thought in your mind to go and do something. If you don't have a strong, resilient mindset and you choose the wrong option, it can be a slippery slope.
Absolutely. What do you hope people say about you when you're not in the room?
I'll just hope people say, like, he's a fucking good man.
Yeah.
That's it, really. Like, I just want to make an impact, a positive impact on people. I feel like if I can help change people's lives, mindsets, or instill confidence, self-belief, to then make them go and do something different that's going to progress their life, that's a huge win for me at the end of the day.
Love that. And if you're happy to, obviously you've been with your beautiful partner Tegan for how long now?
5 years.
5 years. She's sort of been with you through many chapters of your life.
Yeah, we actually. Oh, sorry.
That's right. Yeah, sort of the ups and downs, and a lot of the highs and lows. What does it mean to sort of go through those periods with her? What has she meant to you?
Man, it's the best.
Is it?
Like, I just have my soulmate, my best friend.
Yeah.
Like, we spend 24/7 together. Obviously, working together, living together. We've been through a lot of lows, a lot of highs. But yeah, she means the world to me, man. Like, I would not be who I am or where I am without her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you just move your mic a little bit closer to your mouth? Just with that fucking noise going on. What has your relationship with her taught you about yourself that maybe sort of rugby and business could never teach you?
Yeah. Just to be okay with certain things.
Yeah.
She's definitely helped me deal with a lot of built up anger, frustration that I used to carry a lot in my early years. But with her being like a sounding board, she could tell me things that I never heard before, or I could understand differently.
Opening up to the shadows that you sort of didn't see. Yeah.
And that's like the best thing about having a partner. Like, I've definitely opened up and been a lot more vulnerable to her than anyone else. So yeah, she's helped me just deal with certain things and made me grow up a lot and become a better man, better leader, think differently. She's definitely a lot smarter than I am, so it's like she can see shit.
She's the brains behind the project,
yeah, man.
isn't she?
I just lift weights and take photos. Yeah. But
that's beautiful though, like to find, like you mentioned before, to find that yin and yang, and it's like the opposites, because Jordan's the exact opposite to me, but I think that works well for us massively.
Yeah.
She's the most patient, calm human being that I've ever met, and if I didn't have someone like that, I don't think it would have worked.
Yeah, for sure.
She puts up with a lot of shit, and a lot of dribble comes out of my mouth.
Yeah.
But like she can just sort of stay calm. Like, she's the one sort of, if shit going on, I'm the one going fuck, but she's the one sort of thinking clearly and telling me the sort of the advice that I need to hear.
Yeah. You need to have that balance.
You do, eh?
Otherwise, I think I've seen it a lot with a lot of my friends and their relationships. They're just not meant to be together, So man, I'm lucky, blessed.
So good.
Yeah.
Another thing, just with when you're sort of so busy and you got a lot of stuff going on, how do you keep the relationship strong with Tegan? It's hard to sometimes to find that balance. How have you found that?
The only thing I could say, honestly, is that we're just made for each other.
Yeah.
Like, she just gets me and I fully get her. We obviously both respect each other so much. That's like the only way I could explain it, because we're never like arguing or fighting. We were a little bit early on, obviously, figuring each other out.
Yeah, there's getting to know you fights.
Yeah. But like the amount of time that we spend together and what we do together, we should be, arguing a lot, but we literally don't.
Yeah.
And I think it's because we both just have this epic synergy of what we want to build.
Yeah.
We just know each other inside out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love that. We got some quick fire questions to finish off, so you can answer these as quickly or as long as you want. Where are we? If this mic was connected to every struggling ex-rugby player or athlete that had to give away sort of their passion or love and start again, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I'd say, bro, you have a completely new lease on life. Your whole life has been rugby. You've obviously got decent talent. Use it. Like, this is not the end to anything. It's just a new start.
Love that. What's something that you haven't fully healed from yet, but you're definitely working on?
Yeah. Probably some relationships with my family.
Oh,
I'd
yeah?
say, yeah.
Yeah.
And just being what's the word? Just being okay with how things have kind of unfolded,
Yeah.
I think.
With family all in life.
With family, like
Yeah.
I did hold a lot of like anger when I was younger.
Yeah.
Just we kind of grew up separated a lot. There was a lot of like fighting and stuff like that, especially with my older brother. We kind of fell out a little bit. But yeah, probably working on that relationship, because he is, I've said this before, but he's someone that's played a massive role in my life, because he's actually someone that showed me a life that I didn't want to go down. So like he's a massive role model to me, but I haven't really said that to him. I think I need to.
Yeah, that'd be beautiful. What are 3 non-negotiables for living a healthy and full life?
Train, eat clean.
Yeah.
And I think try and impact others in a positive way, whether that is saying something nice or doing something for others. Like, I think every human being could agree, like when you do something for someone and they appreciate it, or even if they don't, you just do it out of, the kindness of your heart. If you feel good.
This is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%. You just know you feel good.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
Shit. Best advice I've ever received. This one's a hard one.
Pass.
Best advice. I'm trying to think. Yeah, probably pass.
Probably pass. We'll get some more. I'll give you some better advice later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need some.
How have you defined success?
I define success with being happy.
Yeah.
I think probably being content.
Yeah.
Like being content. I think speaking on what we were chatting on previously, like I think when I get to a stage in my life where I'm fully content with everything that I've achieved, maybe even not achieved, as long as I'm content, I think that's success. Whether it's family, good lifestyle. It doesn't have to be fucking all this crazy shit. I think it's just being content with who you are.
I was going to say, yeah, with who you are, yeah. I have this 5-second rule where I haven't got it yet because I still work away in the mines, but my success will come from the person I am. So I'm proud of the person I am. And then the 5-second rule, when you wake up in the morning, if you're not excited for the first 5 seconds to start your day, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
And I have that for the week that I'm here. That first 5 seconds is bliss. It's amazing. The first 5 seconds when I'm away at work in the mines is the opposite.
Yeah.
But I talk about it with sort of my mum and dad and sort of my mentor, is that, that time away at work, that's sort of fueling this project at the moment.
Yep.
And I was having a chat to them that sort of work, especially financial security and being a provider and knowing sort of Jordan and the family is sort of looked after in that way, that was like such a massive part of my motivation and sort of almost like my mental health. Like I was always like, if I couldn't sort of earn money and save money and provide for the family and pay for the house and everything, I started to sort of dip a little bit. And then once I started the podcast, I needed, when I'm here for the week, I needed something to do. I needed to put my creative mind towards something. And then it started like here, and as it sort of like progressed, and the more love I have for it, it's sort of like coming up this way. And I can already feel there's a moment where I got to take the leap because this is giving me way more happiness, fulfillment, joy, passion, everything that I was actually looking for in life. It's ticking all the boxes. That fear that I was telling you about, every time I have sort of the fear in my belly, but it's always like the nerves, the excitement. I'm like, fuck yeah, how good's this? Like I get to do this. And I can feel in the future, in the near future, there's going to be a shift where I'm already telling my supervisor at work.
Yeah, it's sick,
Like he's
man.
telling me stuff about work, and I'm like, I won't be here much longer.
Yeah, it's so good.
Not even knowing that I will be or not, but I feel like I need to start putting that out there and like voicing
Sure.
that and
Yeah.
just letting him know I got one more year left, buddy. So
Yeah,
I'll
let's go.
be out of here. So
Yeah, man.
yeah,
You can clearly see it as well, like
Mm.
making such a huge impact, and obviously, doing what you love. You know what I mean?
It is.
That's the biggest thing.
And that's something that, like, I don't know if you've felt this at all, but I was always really jealous with people when they would get so excited to go to work. You know, I would always, like, rugby obviously was a massive excitement for me, but you know, I'll chat to some people on a Sunday and they're like, we can't wait to go to work. Like my missus is one. She's like, I love going to work.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just like, I was so jealous because I was like, I honestly thought I was never going to find a job or a career or something that I get to a Sunday night and I'm like, I can't fucking wait.
Yeah.
I never thought I was going to be like that up until now.
Yeah.
When I start this, when I've got a recording on the next day, like when I've booked a recording or something like that, I'm like, this is it. Like, how good's this?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, mate.
Have you felt like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, it helps when you understand like what you don't want to be doing and going through all that shit. So, yeah, man, like super lucky to obviously be doing what you love. Like for me, I do what I love every single day, and I'm just so blessed. And it fuels me to work even harder because it just reinforces like hard work, consistency, just pays off.
Always,
and not giving up.
Who's your hero?
Damn, who's my hero? This is a hard one too. My mind just goes blank with these things sometimes.
Sporting hero.
Sporting hero.
Give me a rugby sporting hero.
Yeah, I mean...
That's as easier.
Yeah, I could go all day. Man, honestly, growing up, Sunnyvale was just the G. Like,
give me one from league, one from union.
One from league. I think league... I'm gonna look at the Cowboys. Like Jonathan Thurston, obviously, just
freak.
Crazy, yeah. And obviously just loved watching the Cowboys. Union, man, it's so
Sonny,
hard. There's so many. Yeah, like Sunnyvale, Dan Carter, and Quay Cooper. Like coming through, especially when we were like kind of a little bit younger.
Did you ever play Quay when he was at South?
No, I didn't.
I had one game against him. Yeah. Freak.
Yeah.
Should not be there.
Yeah.
It's criminal.
It's crazy, dude.
It's crazy.
What the hell?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many.
It's crazy. Does it seem crazy now when you got like mates that are playing, you know, either playing for the Wallabies and they're versing the All Blacks, you know, and you're just thinking, man, that is like, we dreamt about that sort of thing.
Yeah,
and
man.
you guys are sitting there watching the haka, you're playing in a Bledisloe, like it's mental.
Yeah, it's so good to see as well. Like I went over to France for the World Cup.
Yeah, nice.
The last World Cup.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. One of my best mates, Isaac Fines, was playing. I was just so happy for him because I know how hard he worked. Like we were at Sunnybank together, working construction. Like
he's a freak too.
Yeah. And he, ripped up. He's always ripped up, and finally got an opportunity for his dream. I was just so.
And to share that with you too, like even though that it's he made it, it kind of felt like you were you're there too with him. Like
I told him a lot. yeah. Like
you can look down the camera and tell him that.
Yeah. Thank me later, Isaac. I mean. Just growing up and going through together. Like I saw how hard he worked, and I saw like the disappointment as well. Like when he wasn't getting picked and stuff, even though he was carving up. So like to see him reach that pinnacle. Yeah, I was so excited. So good. Man. He was the best.
If you could go back to a time in your life, where would you go and why?
Man, great question. Damn, man, I'd probably go back to the head knock. And just try and nip it in the butt earlier, like with the knowledge that I have now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have waited so long, put myself through so much shit, just got myself down. I probably would have finished playing after school, to be honest, and just cracked on into coaching and stuff like that.
Would you really?
Yeah. Just because it would have fast-tracked everything.
Yeah.
But obviously...
That's what made you now, though, isn't it? Is it those tough times and not bad decisions, but there's mistakes that we make along the way. Like that's why you're the mindset you got now.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you wish more people understood about you? If anything.
Yeah, not really anything, to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
honest. Like
Yeah.
I don't really care what people think about me, whether it's good, bad. I think I know like who I am. Like I know my flaws, the positive things about me and stuff like that. Just like everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. Everyone's got fucking amazing things and maybe things that aren't so good. But
Yeah,
not
that's
really
it. Everyone's
anything.
fighting their own sort of battles inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's just life, and everyone's on their own journey, mission. You can't really judge people for certain things when you don't really know fuck all about them.
100%.
Yeah.
So I've got a closing tradition of the podcast where I don't ask the last question. I get family and friends. They send in questions for the guest.
Oh yeah.
So hold it 1 second. Speaking of your mate Isaac.
Let's go.
All right, where are we? Here we go.
Hey bro, thought I'd throw in just a quick question. What's your biggest achievement so far, and what's the ceiling for Quicks Academy, as this is probably the happiest and healthiest you've ever been? Cheers, bro.
That's sick.
Brother Isaac.
I love that. It's funny we were just speaking
Yeah.
of him. Man, biggest achievement. I think it's just finding my purpose. Yeah, so far it's my biggest achievement. With my partner, what I'm doing at the moment. I'm really proud of my life and what I'm trying to build. And then the ceiling, man, there is no ceiling. Especially if you're always pushing and setting the goalposts in front. I'm someone who's probably got a addictive personality, so like when I achieve a goal, I try and lock on to the next thing. But I just want to make a huge impact, a positive impact on a lot of people's lives. Hopefully help people tap into the potential that they do have.
Got a couple more for you.
Yeah.
We'll go one from your partner Tegan. Where are we? She says you've always chased more growth, more goals, more wins. But at what point do you think you would be satisfied that you've done enough and you don't need more?
Yeah, we actually speak about this a lot.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. I think it's what's in my head is like sitting
Sorry.
sitting around a fire pit or just the lounge room, and it's me, Teagues, our dog Tucker, our kids, and we're just looking at each other and just realizing we've got everything we need.
Yeah, I love that.
That's something that's in my head a lot, and I think that's what I'm trying to work so hard to achieve. And I think that will almost be maybe the complete sort of.
Could you sit back and go, I've done it.
Yeah.
I did it.
Maybe. No, we'll have to see. I don't know how old I'll be when that happens, but yeah, that'll be the moment, I think.
We've got one more actually. Actually from your dad.
Oh.
Maybe there isn't one more. Where are we? Here we go. He has said, going back to your younger years, him taking you to training, both league and union, do you ever think way back then that you have come as far as you have now, sticking with the same commitment and same heart that you continued to show your dad back in the early years?
Yeah, I think.
You think?
I think so. Yeah. And I think.
Sounds like he saw it too.
Yeah, I think it's just because when I was getting pushed to train. I just loved it. Like I got to a point where I didn't need to get told to go to training. I'd be doing extras all the time.
No one had to coach your effort. Your effort was always there.
Yeah, just because I love training so much. So I think like, it's like that saying, the person who loves the journey will always outlast the person who loves the destination. So I think, early on, just that love for training and that love for pushing myself. If you love pushing yourself, challenging yourself, no matter what you do, you're probably going to do pretty well. Whereas if you're someone that shies away from a challenge or doesn't put hard work in or a bit of effort, chances are you're probably going to just quit something or not achieve half of what you could have.
Is that something you fear the most? Is not reaching your own potential?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's just pressure on myself.
Yeah, self pressure.
Self pressure.
I mean, it can always sort of be negative at the same time. The way you channel it, it can be such a positive thing where every day you wake up, you're like, all right, how can I be better? And that's something that I got asked a question, what's your sort of deepest fear? And for me, it's not reaching my own potential, because I know that I'm meant for so much more. I know there's so much more in me. I know I can provide so much more that it's almost getting outside of my own head.
Yeah.
And not, all these limits and, ceilings that people like to put on ourselves is just a sort of reflection on them,
Yeah.
And if you, like what you just said then, what's the ceiling? You're like, it's endless, possibilities are endless.
Yeah, man, 100%. But again, it's also just realizing like how fucking blessed we are to just be here and do something, especially if you're waking up loving what you do. It's all energy. Like you're going to give 110% and it's going to be fun trying to create something new or challenge yourself because you're in a state of wanting to fucking do it. You know what I mean? So like just being in that position, you're blessed.
Yeah, 100%. Conrad, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, mate. I really appreciate it. It's been it's actually been really nice getting to know you on a more personal level, and I always used to just watch you play footy on the other side of the wing, so it's nice to get to know you a little bit more. And again, big congrats on the launch, on the merch. It's I love it. I've already got the kit, so big congrats, mate. And love the work you're doing, the message that you're spreading. You're doing great things, and I'm sure there'll be more big things in the future.
Yeah, mate. Honestly, thank you so much. Hey, it was a blast. That was fun.
It was good.
Yeah, man. It was epic.
Nice.
Thank you.
First podcast?
Second.
Yeah. Yeah, nice.
But yeah, man.
Sweet, brother.
That was sick. Thank you so much.
All goods. Thanks so much for listening to another episode of Mind Your Head. If you'd like to support the show, be sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcasts. It really supports the show and helps others discover us. Don't forget to join us on Instagram and TikTok at mindyourhead.podcast.